I felt pressurized to give grades. Kisses and hugs. Hello.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैम।
कौन बात कर रहा है?
मैम इब्राहिम। थैंक यू
इब्राहिम, तुम बीमार क्यों हो रहे हो?
मैम, वो गला खराब है और साथ साथ तबीयत नहीं ठीक,
नहीं,
इसलिए
यू हैव टू
हुआ
टेक
हुआ है।
केयर, ठीक है? स्टीम लो।
ओके मैम।
नहीं, सीरियस। ओके, टेक केयर, बीमार नहीं होना।
ओके मैम।
ओके। अमिलिया, हेलो।
हेलो मैम।
चांद खुशी,
अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैम।
वालेकुम सलाम। माइजा,
अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैम।
वालेकुम सलाम। और कौन है यहाँ पे? हारिस,
यस मैम।
and सनिया,
Yes, ma'am.
मुआज, हेलो मुआज, राना शहबाज, नादिया, जरेश.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so who is speaking now? कौन बोला अभी?
Zarish, ma'am.
Zaresh, okay. What about, there was a girl and she just disappeared. Where is she now? She's not there anymore. Nadia is not here. She just logged in and she logged out. Okay, great. So let's start, right? Okay, I'm going to share the book with you. Okay. Okay. Where is the book? Okay. Okay, so as you know that we are revising the quizzes, the homeworks, and the chapters that we have covered that are included in the syllabus for the midterm examination that you have on Monday, right? Okay.
यस मैम।
Okay, so you can see that I've opened a review for chapter number 3, which is about vectors. So we first talk about the main concepts that we studied here. I hope you're practicing them at home as well. So we talked about the concept of scalars and vectors. We talked about the concept of components of vectors. So components of vectors, basically, the x component is the vector magnitude multiplied by the cosine of the angle, right? And the y component is again the magnitude of this vector multiplied by the sine of this angle. And similarly, you can then apply the Pythagoras theorem and find the magnitude of the vector. If you have ax and ay, you can add their squares, take the under root, and find the magnitude of the vector. And in order to find the angle between the vectors, you take the tangent of this angle. So these were some concepts we studied. And then we talked about the fact that we have unit vectors I, j, and k, and you can find a resultant in terms of these unit vectors. Now, when you know these concepts of components of vectors and the unit vector, you can use this to find the resultant using these formulas where the resultant is equal, the x component of the resultant is equal to the sum of the x components of the vectors that you're adding, right? And similarly, the y component can be found and the z component can be found. Then after addition, we talked about product multiplication. Now there are two cases, the scalar product and the vector product. So the scalar product is a dot b is equal to ab cosine of the angle between the two vectors. This can also be done in the form of components of the vector where you multiply them like this. So basically, and then you have these formulas for, we discussed them, I dot I is equal to what? We discussed them in class, and you also have them in the tables that I've given to you. Similarly, I dot j is equal to what? And you can find it yourself as well. So these are very simple. Then you have the vector product where we use the formula based on the product of the magnitudes multiplied by the sine of these, the angle between them. And also we can do this manually, or we can do it with a formula in which we make a matrix as I showed you before with I, J and so on, and you do matrix multiplication to get this. Again, this formula, we've done it in class, and we also have this in the tables that I've shared with you. Okay, now now I'll come to the quiz that we did, and we can review and discuss the questions that we had in the quiz related to these topics. So let us start with the x component of a vector A is minus 25 meters. Okay, so the x component of a vector A is minus 25 meters, right? Okay, and the y component is plus 40 meters. The y component is plus 40 meters. So the question is, what is the magnitude of A? So I would like you to solve this, and I'll give you a point for this because this is based on what we've already studied and done before. So I'll give you a point if you solve this correctly. Meanwhile, I'm going to take your attendance, and so let's see. Okay, so we Sarmad, Amar bin Nasir, Abu Bakr, Fatima, Usman, Anam Basharat, Muhammad Bilal, Hamza Dar. Fariduddin is not here today. Normally he's present in all classes. Anyway. Kessler, Zaresh.
Yes, ma'am.
Zaresh, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Haris.
Yes, ma'am. Haris.
Okay. Muaz.
Yes, ma'am. Present.
Okay. Ibrahim.
Brother, ma'am.
Huma. Huma Irshad, no. Alina. Hunain. Rana Shehbaz.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. And Sania Ahmed.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Arisha. Chand.
Present, ma'am.
Please switch off your mics if you don't. Only switch it on when you have to say something. So, Arisha.
Present.
Chand. Maiza,
Present, ma'am.
okay. Yusuf Patras, Abira, Nadia,
Present, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
who is this?
Abira.
Abira, okay. Where is Abira?
Ma'am, I'm here.
No, you didn't answer before. Acha.
Ma'am, I did.
Okay. And then we have Hayan, Cheryl, Ashraf,
Excuse me, ma'am. This is Nadia here.
okay. Huda Zahur, Amelia, Bisma,
Present, ma'am.
who?
Amelia.
Okay. And Bisma, Sadiqullah, Sohaib, Talha, Ali Zulkarnain. Okay. Right. So have you solved the question we talked about?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is this speaking?
Was
Moaz. Okay, Moaz. Just a moment. Let's see. So let's come back to the board. Okay, Moaz, what's your answer?
हम आंसर नहीं वर्किंग बता देता हूँ अभी कैलकुलेटर नहीं है लेकिन वर्किंग बता देता हूँ सारी क्या करनी है
वो बताओ, साथ आंसर भी बताओ ना, क्योंकि आपने एंटर तो आंसर करना होता है एंड में. ठीक है.
यस मैम
ओके, सो यू विल. कैलकुलेटर क्यों नहीं है? तुम किस डिवाइस पे बैठे हो जिस पे कैलकुलेटर नहीं है? कम ऑन. सो ओके, क्या वर्किंग है तुम्हारी?
मैं इसमें एक वेक्टर का हमें दो कंपोनेंट्स दिए एक्स और वाई तो हमें पता कि आई और जे वेक्टर क्या है तो इनका हमने स्क्वायर लेके अंडर रूट ले लेंगे मेरे ख्याल से आंसर 40 बनता है
47.16
ये कौन बोल रहा है?
हारिस
Haris. Okay, so one answer we got is 47 meter,
47.16
16 meter, and the other answer we got is 40 meters, right? Acha. So let's see which of these will be correct. Okay, and you have to explain.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, कौन बोल रहा है?
Ma'am, you
46,
did not
just a
note
moment.
my name in the
Who
comment.
said 47?
हारिस
Haris. And this is Moaz. Okay. Now,
मैम 47 ही है 47 ही है
कौन बोल रहा है?
मैम वो मैंने कैलकुलेट कर लिया
Okay, now explain,
47.16
explain the method.
25 square plus 40 square और
Just a
उनका अंडर
moment.
रूट ले लेंगे
Ax is equal to minus 25 meters,
25
right? Ay is equal to 40 meters. And therefore, A is equal to was
मैग्नीट्यूड के लिए अंडर रूट x component square plus y component square तो minus 25 square plus 40 square under root
and the answer comes out to be
47.16
so the choices I gave you 47 meters, so that's correct. Okay.
yes ma'am
47.2, in fact I gave you 47.2. That's also correct if you round this off, right? So you both get 1 point, Moaz and Haris. Okay, so let's see. Moaz and Haris. Where is Haris? Okay. This is Haris. Okay, so let's go to the next problem. I'm going to erase this. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, who is this? Who is this?
Ma'am, it's Bisma. You did not take my name in the attendance.
I think I did. Bisma. Let's check it. Okay, I'll check it. Just let me start the problem. Okay. So the second problem is the x component of vector A is minus 25 and the y component is plus 40, the same. We have to find the angle between the direction of A and the positive direction of x. So it's the same question that we had. And this time you have to find, we have AX is equal to minus 25 meters. AY is equal to 40 meters. We have to find the angle the vector A is making with the x-axis. So who will tell me the answer this time? First say your name and then I'll ask you the answer, okay? Yes, tell me. Bisma. Okay. Yes, who's going to answer this? Yes? Okay, if you're not going to volunteer, I'm going to call someone to answer it, okay? So let's see who has not answered a question so far. What about Haris? Haris?
Yes, we multiply the scalar quantity of minus 25 and 14 divided by the magnitude.
What will you do? Yes, Haris? Continue, Haris.
1 minute.
Okay, I'll give someone else a chance to answer this. What about Ibrahim?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in this, we use the formula theta is equal to tan inverse AY over AX.
Very good, right. So theta is equal to
So-
tan inverse AY over
AX.
So this is equal to?
I solve it, ma'am.
Yes, this is 40 over minus 25, right? So what's the answer?
40.
Ma'am, 86 degrees. 86. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I got the answer minus 57.9.
One answer is minus 57.9. This is Ibrahim.
Yes, ma'am.
The second answer is? What's the second answer? There was another boy who was saying some answer. Who is that? Yes. Come on. Ibrahim, what's your answer?
Ma'am, my answer is minus 57.9.
Okay, this is your answer. Okay, what about there was someone else speaking? Let's check it out, okay? So we have this is the quadrant system, right? This is x and this is y. So ax is equal to minus 25. Ax is equal to minus 25 means here. This is ax, okay? This is ax. Ay is equal to plus 40. This is, it will be a little bit longer. Ay is equal to plus 40. And therefore, A is equal to how much? A was equal to 47.2. So A should be, in which quadrant should be A? 1, 2, 3, 4. In which quadrant should you get A? Try, it should have a physical meaning also, your answer, right? So in which
Second quadrant.
it should make sense. So it should be in the second quadrant, right? So please try to calculate again and then tell me the answer, okay? Yes, who has got the answer? Find the answer corresponding to the second quadrant, okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, in order to find the answer in second quadrant, we should add answer with 180.
You can use a formula from the tables that we have shared, okay? So look for the formula that will correspond to this, okay?
Okay.
मैम आई थिंक सेकंड क्वाड्रेंट में जो थीटा की वैल्यू है 180 में से माइनस होगी.
So what do you get?
180 में से माइनस करेंगे तो 122 समथिंग.
ये कौन बोल रहा है?
हारिस में.
हारिस. Can you explain?
हमजा मैम.
हमजा बोल रहा है, हारिस बोल रहा है, कौन बोल रहा है? किसने मुझे आंसर बताया अभी?
मैम 122 होगी वैल्यू.
कैसे?
मैम ये जो 57.9 है इसे 180 में से माइनस करेंगे.
अच्छा. Okay. Okay. So the formula should be Okay, so please look at the formulas that you have and try to find a formula that corresponds to this. For example, last time we also discussed there are formulas for complementary angles and there are formulas for supplementary angles, okay? For example, we did one with sine last time, right? You remember? There was a formula for sine theta is equal to sine 180 minus theta, right?
Yes, for the second quadrant.
Yes, you remember that formula. Similarly, you have formulas for the tangent, right? Because the tangent is a combination of the sine and the cosine. And therefore, you can use these formulas and find the answer that corresponds to the second quadrant, which comes out to be 122 degrees. So if you subtract this from 180, the answer comes out. So you should also try to, that's why it's always useful to draw a diagram, because the diagram will help you answer which answer makes sense. You can get more than one answers, but then you also have to understand the physical meaning of this. So if you make these simple diagrams, you'll see minus 57.9 is somewhere here in the fourth quadrant, but our vector is in the second quadrant. So the angle corresponding in this case, again, you will see will come out to be 122. So if you use these formulas for complementary angles and for supplementary angles, like we did in a previous example that we were doing in the class on campus, okay? ठीक है?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, great. So now let's go to the next problem. So just go through practice these and you will have enough practice to, but it should make sense as well. ठीक है? Just calculating it with a calculator without understanding the physical problem will not be very helpful. So what is the x component of a vector A in the xy plane if its direction is 250 degrees counterclockwise from positive direction? Okay, let me see. Let me try to write this here, okay? Copy. Okay, so let's go to the board. And okay, so this is your question, right? Can you see the question? Can you see this question?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am.
Yes. So what is the x component of a vector A in the xy plane if its direction is 250 degrees counterclockwise? Now you understand that again you have the quadrants, okay? You have, this is
So in the third quadrant.
okay. So we have x and y. This is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. So what is the x component of a vector A in the xy plane if its direction is 250 degrees counterclockwise? Counterclockwise means you go in this direction, and 250 degrees means this is 0. This is 0 degree, right? This is 180 degrees. And this is how much? 180 plus 90, that's equal to 270 degrees, and then you have 360 degrees. ठीक है ना? You remember this, right? So 250 degrees is somewhere between 180 and 270. So it's somewhere here. So we can draw it here. So this is somewhere like this, okay? So this is the angle we are talking about, okay? And now from the positive x direction, and its magnitude is 7.3 meters. So the magnitude A is equal to 7.3 meters. The angle theta or phi, whatever you want to call it, is 250 degrees. So what is the x component? Now who answered the last question? किसने बताया था मुझे 122? Let me give this person a point. Until then you can solve this. किसने बताया था? 122 का आंसर किसने?
हारिस, मैंने भी बताया था, किसी और ने भी बताया था।
हारिस ने
मैम
बताया?
हमजा।
हमजा, ठीक है, गुड। ओके, हारिस एंड हमजा। हारिस, आपने 2 क्वेश्चन आंसर किए, 1 क्वेश्चन आंसर किए? हारिस? Okay, anyway, so now let's try to find this answer. And also I would like to make the announcement that this meeting will end in a few minutes, and then you can click the same link again to continue with the meeting, okay? So who will answer this question? I would like a new person.
Ma'am, can I?
कौन बोल रहा है?
Ma'am, Chand.
Chand. Yes. Yes, Chand.
Ma'am, we will use the formula A is equal to AX cos theta.
Okay, Chand, let me write it so that I remember. And so the formula is A is equal to
AX cos theta.
A cos theta. So this should be equal to multiply by cosine of what's your answer?
Ma'am, let me
Yes, please do it.
calculate.
Ma'am, 2.250 meters.
ये कौन बोल रहा है?
Maisa.
Maisa.
250 meter.
अच्छा, Maisa says 2.0 meters. Okay, and what about Chand? What's your
2.250 meters.
ये Maisa बोल रही है?
Yes, ma'am.
दोबारा बोलो.
2.250 meters.
2.250 meters. Okay, and Chand, what's your answer? Chand,
Yes,
आप बोलो.
ma'am, 2.45 ऐसे करके आ रहा है.
Okay, anyone else who would like to answer this? इसको हम approximately 2.5 भी कह सकते हैं. There is a small problem with this answer. Who will explain that? Yes, Amelia, what do you want to say? Amelia?
Ma'am, sorry, it was
Ma'am, minus sign.
कौन बोल रहा है? Who is speaking?
मैम एक तो मैंने बोला चांद.
चांद, अपना नाम बोला करो. मुझे कैसे पता? यहाँ माइनस होना चाहिए.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I think.
एक्सप्लेन करो क्यों.
क्योंकि मैम मल्टीप्लाई किया है ना, माइनस जो कोस 250 का आंसर आ रहा है ना, वो आ रहा है माइनस 0.34.
तो आपने माइनस क्यों छोड़ा था? अब माइनस के
मैम वो
फिजिकल मीनिंग बताओ इसका. ये करेक्ट है आंसर. ओके, ये नहीं है करेक्ट. नाउ व्हाट्स द फिजिकल मीनिंग? इसको एक्सप्लेन करो. फिगर आपके सामने बनी हुई है.
Means थर्ड क्वाड्रेंट में
कौन बोल रहा है?
ये जीरो से लेफ्ट की तरफ है.
कौन बोल रहा है?
बताने तो दो भाई.
RS.
RS, वेरी गुड. यस, तो क्योंकि ये थर्ड क्वाड्रेंट में है तो देयरफॉर इसकी वैल्यू क्या होनी चाहिए?
नेगेटिव.
नेगेटिव होनी चाहिए. चांद, आपको समझ आई?
यस मैम, ये पता है मुझे थर्ड क्वाड्रेंट में माइनस.
ठीक है, आपको मैंने पॉइंट दे दिया, हारिस को भी दे दिया है. माइसा, डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड इट?
Yes, ma'am.
समझ आ गई ना गलती अपनी?
हाँ जी, ma'am.
Okay, Amelia, you raised your hand. Why did you raise your hand?
Ma'am, it was by mistake. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay, no problem. Okay, so
वन.
हाँ,
मैम अटेंडेंस लगा दी आपने?
कौन बोल रहा है?
मैम चांद, बिकॉज मैम वो मेरा ना कनेक्शन प्रॉब्लम हो गया था. मैंने फर्स्ट ज्वाइन किया था, आपने मेरा नाम भी
लगा
लिया.
दी. मैं एक दफा दोबारा ले लेती हूँ अटेंडेंस. ओके, डोंट वरी. ओके, सो
Okay,
I'm going to now go to the next problem. लेकिन उसके लिए मेरे ख्याल में मीटिंग एंड कर देती हूँ ताकि बीच में ना बंद हो जाए. राइट, एंड देन यू कैन क्लिक द सेम लिंक अगेन and then we can start with a new problem. Okay?
Yes.